Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. First of all, a quick apology. If you can hear a TV playing in the background, I've left it on in the other room, basically for the dog. We have still got fireworks going off, probably about an hour ago, believe it or not. I'm sick to death of the damn things. The dog is just in a permanent state of distress. So somebody said leave a TV on just with a little bit of background noise so that hopefully it will drown out the sound of the fireworks. So forgive me if you can hear a TV playing in the background. It is actually in the other room, but it's loud enough to hopefully drown out the sound and calm the poor dog down. So also a great big thank you to everybody who commented on yesterday's video and all the feedback that I got. 41 views in 24 hours. I'm really happy with that. That is a great result, and that's only in one day. So I asked for advice on what to call the two separate videos, and you all came through, as I knew you would, with suggestions. I've decided to go with Jason's suggestion. He suggested Saturday Chit Chat, which is nice and short, and also Tony's Sunday Service, which I really like, and I would never have thought of in a million years. He said it's because it's better than going to church. So thanks for that, Jason. Really appreciate that. So yeah, I've decided to go with those. So you will see the title card reflecting that at the beginning of the video when I stick it on YouTube and on Facebook a little bit later on. So cheers for that, Jace. Really appreciate it, and also appreciate all the kind comments on the video yesterday. Really appreciate all your encouragement, guys. I'll be addressing all of those comments on next week's video. But yeah, really appreciate the fact that you're constantly encouraging me to keep this thing going. A special shout out to Scott. Always nice comments, mate. Always when you reply under the video. So really appreciate that, and I will be taking a look at one of your live streams during the course of the week and having a look at that. So yeah, thanks for all that, mate, and all the other comments. I will be addressing them all on next week's video. Remember very quickly that I mentioned a YouTube channel yesterday called Euphoria Pictures. Guy called Keith, based I assume in Ireland, judging by the accent. He does unboxings of 4Ks, Blu-rays, that kind of thing, mini reviews, and he has a theme tune which plays at the beginning of his videos, and I was curious to know whether you guys could figure out what it was. I was absolutely convinced that you lot would know what it was. I really thought you would. I got it straight away as soon as I heard it. But you seem to struggle with this one, so I'm going to put you out of your misery with this. It was Assault on Precinct 13, the John Carpenter movie from 1976. Unmistakable. But you really struggled with that. I should have done a prize or something for that one, because none of you would have won it. So, yeah, Assault on Precinct 13, guys, for those of you that didn't know. But it's a cracking channel. If you get a chance to have a look, I think he's got a couple of thousand subscribers. But if you're looking at buying sort of Blu-rays and 4Ks and box sets and all that sort of thing, check his channel, because he will show you exactly what it is you're getting with his unboxing. So yeah, it's well worth a subscription, that one. Let's see now. Right, I was going to do Jason's top 10 today. Turns out I've already done it. I didn't realise, Jason. I can't believe you told me that you'd already. Are you absolutely sure about that? Because I really cannot remember doing that one. But if you say I have, I must have done. So this makes today's top 10 the last one that I've got. So if any of you guys out there have got a top 10 movie list that you want to send to me, please feel free. Just message it over, and I'll be well, be reading it out hopefully next week and the week after. That's if I get any more. And if there are anybody out there that's already sent one over to me that I haven't yet done, just give me a little nudge. because I've just demonstrated exactly how good my memory is. So if you've already sent me a top 10 and I've not actually done it yet, just send me a quick message and go, oi, you ain't done mine yet. So today I'm doing Dave Massarella's top 10. I've worked for Dave, oh blimey, must be 12 years now. He's the warehouse manager, smashing guy. And he gave me his top 10 a couple of weeks ago. So I'll go through these in no particular order. 7, number 10, 7, the movie, Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. I saw a brief snippet of this last night on a show that I'm following on on Shudder at the moment, called 101 Scariest Moments in Movies. There was a segment on this. It's a cracking film. I've not seen it for years. The memory I have of this one mostly is the worst death was definitely sloth, without a doubt. When they find the poor emaciated guy strapped to a bed, there's basically nothing on him. He's just a skeleton with a bit of skin on it. And it turns out he's not dead. It's just horrific. I won't give the ending away because there are going to be a lot of people who've not actually seen it. So I won't do any spoilers on that one. But I need to revisit that one. It's a cracking movie. I remember the end being truly shocking. That's number 10. Number 9, Die Hard. I love this film. I'm not a great fan of action films as such, or blockbusters or stuff like that. But this one, I think it was 1990. I rented it on VHS, and if I remember correctly, there was nothing, pretty much nothing, in the video shop at the time that I'd not actually seen. This was pretty much the last movie that I spotted, and I thought, oh, go on then, and absolutely loved it. Alan Rickman is superb, Hans Gruber. I think you mentioned something, Jason, yesterday about this being a Christmas film and it being not a Christmas film. It absolutely is. I'm sorry. But to me, Die Hard is definitely a Christmas movie. As for Lethal Weapon, I haven't got a clue. But yeah, I thought Bruce Willis was superb in this. I'd only ever seen him in, I think he did a series called Moonlighting with Sybil Shepherd that screened on the BBC in the 80s, or was it the 90s? I think it was the 80s. And he was great in that. I couldn't imagine him as an action star. Couldn't have been further from the truth. Absolutely brilliant movie. I do enjoy the sequel as well, Die Hard 2. Haven't seen 3 or 4 or 5. Is there 5 now? But the first two, total classics. Number 8, Pulp Fiction. Tarantino at his absolute peak. John Travolta, this was a bit of a comeback for him, and it paid off. Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis again is in this. Again, I've not seen it for quite a while. Uma Thurman, that's her name, isn't it? Yeah, just a really, really good film. I do need to revisit it again. This is another one that I've not seen for quite a while. So yeah, Pulp Fiction, classic. And talking of classics, number 7, Jaws. What a movie. This was the talk of the schoolyard in 1975 when it first came out. You'd either seen Jaws or you hadn't. And if you had seen it, you had numerous stories to tell about what happened in it. There was this bit in it that, oh, you remember this bit? Oh, blah, blah. I was one of the ones that hadn't seen it, but knew somebody that had. And he just spent pretty much all day, every day, talking about Jaws and how I needed to see it, and I got to see it. I didn't see it at the cinema. I believe the first time I saw it was on VHS. So yeah, I missed out on the big screen experience with that. But I believe it's just been re-released on IMAX. I mean, that must be quite something. And 3D. No. Jaws in 3D. No. I'm sorry, but if a movie hasn't been actually made in 3D, they shouldn't turn it into a 3D movie, because I'm guessing that it won't work. Jaws stands pretty much as a classic on its own as it is. You don't have to embellish it with 3D and Dolby and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, Jaws, absolutely brilliant. Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss. There isn't a dull moment in this film. It is just movie heaven. It is picture perfect. So yeah, I completely agree with that. I'd have actually stuck that at number one, Dave, personally. Number six, Goodfellas. Seen this a few times. Scorsese at his best, violent as hell, really, really nasty. Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, and I believe Joe Pesci. Um, just superb. Yeah, well worth it. The Godfather, arguably the best movie ever made, the greatest movie ever made. Um, it comes up on pretty much everybody's top 10 list. And when I do mine, I'll probably do mine next week actually if I don't get any more top 10s. You will find The Godfather pretty close to the top. Again, a near perfect film. 3 hours, obviously the story of a mafia family in New York, headed by Marlon Brando. You've also got Al Pacino. What's the guy with the shoulders? James Caan. Just brilliant, absolutely superb. I believe it's just been released on 4K. I would love to see what it looks like on 4K. That's a question for you, Chris. If you've got 4K Godfather, just let me know what that one's like. I may just treat myself to that one. But yeah, perfect. Um, I've lost what number I'm on. Is it 5 or 4? I won't read out numbers now. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Again, a near perfect movie. This is one of John Hughes's teen comedies from the 80s. Absolutely loved it. Matthew Broderick. Can't remember anybody else in it, but it's just brilliant. If you've not seen a John Hughes movie, I would recommend either this one or Uncle Buck. What's the other one? The Breakfast Club. Oh my God, what a brilliant movie The Breakfast Club was. I'm surprised that's not on the list, Dave. Um, but yeah, if you get the chance to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off and you've never seen it's just absolutely brilliant. The Equalizer. Now, I think this is based on a series that starred Edward Woodward in the either 80s or 90s, which I never saw. I've not seen the movie, which I believe stars Denzel Washington, but I've heard how good it is, so I'll stick that one on my watch list. Next one, oh my God, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Clint Eastwood's Dollars trilogy, which I believe started with A Fistful of Dollars, then moved on to For a Few Dollars More, and then you've got The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The theme to this is just amazing. It has one of the most superb soundtracks ever. Ennio Morricone composed the music for it. It is just unmistakable. I am ashamed to say I have never actually seen the film, but I bought them on Blu-ray a short while ago, and being off work this week, I may just take the time to take them in, because I've heard it's a superb trilogy. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is the one that stands out head and shoulders above the rest, as far as I'm concerned, even though I've never seen it. But yes, I will be watching that at some point soon. Clint Eastwood, I think this is the one that turned him into a global superstar. He just went from strength to strength after that one. So, Django, Quentin Tarantino. I remember this being exceptionally brutal and nasty. I also remember Leonardo DiCaprio's performance being absolutely amazing. What a vile, horrible character. Owner of a plantation with loads of slaves, and the way he treated them was just absolutely awful. Um, I don't know whether I'd class this as my favourite Tarantino film. That one would probably go to Reservoir Dogs, which I've seen quite a few times. I've been told to have a look at The Hateful Eight, because that is superb, which I've not seen. But yeah, Django I saw a few years ago, and it's one of those movies that, with a lot of the lines and the language and the violence, my jaw was constantly hitting the floor. It's like, oh my God, whoa, no, oh dear me, one of those kind of films. But really, really well done, really, really well done. And finally, Man on Fire. I've never seen it. I know it's Denzel Washington, and I know it's some sort of revenge film, if I remember right. Isn't he? Isn't he some like a bodyguard or something like that? I've never seen it, but I've been told how good it is. Now, I normally take a film off everybody's list and add it to my watch list. It's usually one that I've not seen before, but has been recommended, and it's going to be off. Well, this list I'm going to go for either Man on Fire or The Equalizer, as I've seen. Oh, hang on, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. What have I just said? I might even add all three actually. So yeah, I think it's going to be Man on Fire first, then The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and then The Equalizer. I'll add all three to my ever-growing watch list. So, right, that's Dave Massarella's top 10. Thanks ever so much for that, mate. Much appreciated. What else have I got on here? I was going to do, let's see, my list of 6 movies that started life as TV series. No, let me do that the other way around. TV series that started life as movies. Oh God, let me just put this cup down. Oh dear, now then. So TV series that started life as movies. I've got 6. I've actually got 7 here. It's not a top 6; it's a top 7. Starting with this one. Now, if you were around in the 60s, you couldn't move on TV for TV series made by Irwin Allen. You were looking at things like Lost in Space, The Time Tunnel, Land of the Giants, and there was this one. This was my favourite, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, starring Richard Basehart and David Hedison. Set aboard a nuclear submarine called the Seaview. I think the first season mostly concentrated on things like terrorists and spies, and then it moved into the inevitable fantasy area, and you got sort of undersea monsters, lizard men, dinosaurs, all that kind of thing. This was absolutely superb, essential tea time viewing in the 70s, as was Lost in Space. I have very fond memories of both of these. I love that series, but it started life as a movie directed by Irwin Allen himself around about 1961. And the movie concerned, if I remember right, a band of fire around the earth, or was it radiation? I do remember the sky glowing orange. It's been a while since I've seen it, a long, long time. So I need to dig that one out. So that's Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. This one, Planet of the Apes. Started life as 5 movies. The original being an absolute total classic starring Charlton Heston. Get your damn stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. You know that one. And I think there was something like 4 sequels, and then this came along in 1974. I couldn't tell you the name of the 2 geezers that star in it. I don't know. Is it James Norton and Ron Harper? Basically play 2 astronauts that crash on the Planet of the Apes, and it's just a series of adventure, well, sort of 1-hour episodes. It only ran for 1 season in 1974, but I remember it, I loved it, and I still love watching it now. Typical 70s sci-fi. Again, can't go wrong. Roddy McDowall reprised his role. I think he was called Galen in this one. As opposed to, I think it was Cornelius in the movies. But I thought this was a cracking series. It didn't get sort of superb reviews when it came out, but I thought this was really, really good, so thoroughly enjoyed that one. Next one, let's see, Logan's Run. This would have come out about 1977-ish, loosely, well, based on the movie starring Michael York and Jenny Agutter from 1976. The movie was superb, absolutely brilliant. Seen it quite a few times, still love watching it now. And this series, I thought this was really, really good as a follow-up to the actual movie. Your 2 lead actors are completely different. You haven't got Michael York and you haven't got Jenny Agutter. I can't remember the name yet again of these people. Gregory Harrison plays Logan, and Heather Menzies plays the female lead, whose name I can't remember, but she plays Jenny Agutter's character. Heather Menzies, I remember actually from a movie called Piranha in 1978 with Bradford Dillman, a sort of a nature fights back type thing. But this was a good series, typical 70s sci-fi, really, really good. Then we move slightly away from sci-fi to this one, Fame. I used to love watching this years ago. My sister actually saw the kids from Fame live, and I think it was at the NEC. Fame was huge in the early 80s. It began life as a movie directed by Alan Parker in 1980. Then a couple of years later, this came out, was absolutely massive. And there was a whole generation of people that were watching this that didn't really realise that it started life as a movie. So they re-released the film with a AA certificate, which was for over 14s only. As most people didn't realise that the film version was a lot more adult and harder edged than the series was. So there were a lot of people that couldn't get in to see it. The younger kids couldn't get in to see it. Not that they wanted to, because the tone of the movie was completely different to this, totally different. But as a series, I thought this was brilliant. It ran for, I think it was, is it 2 or 3 seasons? And it was really, really good. There were very few of the original stars from the movie. I believe, no, I'm not even going to guess. I'm not even going to guess. There were only a couple. I believe the guy that played Sharovsky, the music teacher, I think he was in the original, and also there was a geezer called Bruno. I think he was in the film. But the film and the TV, they couldn't be more different. But Fame, loved Fame. Then we move on to this one, Peyton Place. Now this started life as a movie in 1957, I believe. And that was based on a book, a really, really controversial book at the time. And then they started making this round about 1964, I believe, or was it 63? It was in black and white. It was the original super soap. So you got things like Dynasty and Dallas in the 80s. This was way before those, and it was way before Coronation Street and all that. I started buying these from a company called Shout Factory, and there was something like 514 episodes, and I was buying various volumes, which I think contained sort of 33 episodes apiece. And then they stopped doing them about 200 episodes in, which I was really pissed off about, because this is really, really addictive when you get into it. It launched the careers of Mia Farrow and Ryan O'Neal. I thought this was superb, as I say, very, very addictive. It only ran for 25 minutes an episode, but it ran for years and years. It was something like 500 and something episodes in all. But this was absolutely superb. I really enjoyed watching this. You can watch the others, I think, the remaining episodes, I think, on YouTube, but it's not the same as having your discs. I'm still waiting for a full box set of these to come out, because I will definitely be buying that. Well, this is number 6, Dark Shadows. Now, this was, I've actually got this the wrong way around, because this was a TV series before. It was a movie. The movie was Johnny Depp, but it was based on this, which was a strange breed. It was a supernatural soap. It ran for thousands of episodes. It went for years. And I bought this recently, and I think I've watched about 7 episodes, and it is strangely addictive once you get into it. But yeah, I would definitely recommend that if you've never seen it. And finally, who knew? Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, the complete series. I saw an episode of this on ITV years and years ago. It was all to do with racehorses, and I thought that it was really, really funny. And I thought, I'm going to grab that. I don't even know whether this is still available, or how many people realise that, the series was even there, or even existed. I don't think it's not the original Stars. No, it isn't. But it's an 18. It's an adult thing, obviously, and I will be watching the rest of these at some point, especially now I've discovered it on the DVD shelf and probably didn't even realise it was there. So, but yeah, did you guys realise that Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels have been turned into a TV series? So let me know on that one, and if you've got it and you've watched it, let me know what it's like, because I will be going into that one at some point. Now, I mentioned a movie yesterday, or last week, that I thought pretty much everybody has seen, and I know I'm a fine one to talk about having not seen movies, but I think it was Guy mentioned that he'd never ever seen it. This movie has got such a following, so I thought I'd introduce you all to it. Melody. It was released in 1971. It's a British movie. Stars Mark Lester and Jack Wilde, who were the two young leads in Oliver, which was the musical version of Oliver Twist. This was their first pairing since that. This was 3 years later. This is a lovely little film. Also stars Tracy Hyde. It's basically a story of first love in a comprehensive school, but you have to sort of cast your mind back sort of 50 years to imagine what life was like back then. There are certain things that you could say and certain things that you could do that you definitely would not do now. This is definitely, I would say, not a period piece. It's a product of its time, without a doubt, but an absolutely superb little film with a gorgeous soundtrack by the Bee Gees. Again, this is perfect 77 to me. But having Mark Lester and Jack Wilde in there, this movie is absolutely massive, would you believe, in Japan. It is huge. It's got a massive following over there. I've actually got a story to tell about that, but I'll do it another time, because I am literally running out of time. Oh, go on then, since you're forcing me. I remember finding a copy of this on VHS in a bargain bin for 50p years ago. And I bought it, watched it, and thought, I'll sell this on. I can get another copy of it at some point. So I stuck it on eBay, and it sold for over £100. Now, I thought it was some kind of a mistake, and the guy that had bid on it had got it wrong. So I emailed him and basically said that, I can't take that sort of money for it, because it's not worth that much. And he absolutely, literally insisted, because that's when I found out that this movie, Melody, which was also known as Swalk, Sealed with a Loving Kiss. That's when I found out that this movie was absolutely massive in Japan. There was nowhere that he could have got it apart from the UK. So he literally sent me this cheque for £100 and something, which I cashed. It was perfectly legit. Posted it off to him. But yeah, if you've never seen this, I can't recommend this film enough. I'm going to be banging this on at some point this week and reacquainting myself with it. I love this film. So as I say, that's called Melody. I'll do a proper review when I've actually watched it, because it's been so long since I've seen this. But I do remember seeing it on TV in the 70s when I was still at school, and remember loving the soundtrack. So yeah, highly recommended. Soundtrack of the week, very, very quickly. The Italian Job. What a slice of 67 this is. There isn't a soundtrack like this anywhere. It features the title track, which was on Days Like These by Matt Monro, and also a lot of incidental music. The movie itself, The Italian Job, I've never actually seen. I bought it on Blu-ray recently, so I'm going to be putting that right. I believe there's even a 4K version of this, and I'll bet it looks stunning on that. But if there isn't, there should be. So yeah, that's this week's soundtrack of the week, which is falling out. There you go. But is it got? No, it's just an insert sleep. So yeah, superb soundtrack. I would put this in the same bracket as the soundtrack to Barbarella. It's that kind of thing. So very 60s, very trippy, just brilliant. So, right, that's it for today, folks. Thanks ever so much for joining me. As I say, thanks for all the encouragement. I will be addressing all of those comments that were left on yesterday's video on next week's video. So, again, thanks for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. That would be absolutely amazing. I'll be back next week with another 2 videos, one for Saturday and one for Sunday. I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about then, so I can't tell you what's coming up as yet. So thanks again for joining me, folks, and I will talk to you all again next week. Have a great weekend. What's left of it. Take care. Ta-ra.